Actor Riya Chakravarti faces the Narcotics Bureau team once again today for the second time in the case of alleged drug procurement. Posters asking for justice for Sushant allegedly put up by the BJP in Polbang, Bihar sparks a row. The Congress accuses the BJP of politicizing Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Startling link emerges between the Kerala gold scam and the Karnataka drugs racket. Kochi court grants permission to the Customs Department to interrogate 6 accused in the Kerala gold smuggling case in the Bengaluru drug case. India's total tally of the COVID cases crosses the 42 lakh mark with a single-day spike of 90,802 infections. In fact, India overtakes Brazil to become the country with the second highest COVID cases in the world. Centre tells the Supreme Court disinfectant tunnels are clinically and psychologically harmful. States the directions regarding the usage to be issued by tomorrow. And actor Kangana Ranaut given Y-level security by the centre following a blistering war of words with Maharashtra government. Kangana equated Mumbai to POK, after which an angry Maharashtra government said she should not be allowed in the state. Good afternoon. You're watching the big story here on Mirror Now. My name is Apurva Sridhar. Let's begin with our top focus story coming in at this hour. This regarding the fresh twist of events that has come in this case where the Maharashtra government versus actor Kangana Ranaut. The Home Ministry has in fact approved a Y-level security for the actor now. In fact, the entire controversy erupted after Kangana's comment on Mumbai, comparing it to POK, after which the Maharashtra Home Minister and Sena leader Sanjay Raut in fact lashed out at the actor. Kangana, however, has tweeted and thanked the Home Minister Amit Shah for the Y security. Let me bring in our Deputy News Editor, Meenakshi, for further updates on this. Meenakshi, we have seen the constant and the blistering war of words that had broken out right after Kangana made this comment of comparing Mumbai to the POK. What is the latest update you are picking up? Because now we understand there is a tweet that has come in from Kangana Ranaut thanking the Centre for the Y security.
Well, that's right, Apurva. This is something which has escalated and will perhaps continue to escalate given the fact that Sanjay Raut, without taking Kangana's name this time around, has also reacted back to her tweet where she's seen thanking the Home Minister. Now, what we can confirm to our viewers is this, that she will be provided with a personal security officer and 11 armed policemen, including commandos. And this is a Y plus security cover that government sources clearly have indicated to us, has been confirmed after an assessment of a recent threat that she's in the midst of purportedly has been reviewed, and due diligence has been done by the MHA with regards to this. And what we have been given to understand is this, Apurva, that they feel that there is a renewed threat to the actor after she spoke about drug usage amongst a section in the film industry following obviously the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput. So it was something which the MHA was apprised of, and as is protocol, they did the due diligence, and after a review at their end, which has happened at the highest levels, Apurva, it's been decided, and also in the backdrop of Kangana's father, our viewers will recall yesterday, urging upon the Himachal and also the Maharashtra government to provide security cover to her. It's been decided now she will be provided round-the-clock security cover, which falls in the category of Y plus security.
All right, Meenakshi, many thanks for joining us and bringing us all those updates there. And let's quickly just take our viewers through what had happened and what this entire controversy is really about and when did this really start. Now, it all began on September 1st, where we understand that Kangana had in fact first questioned the Mumbai police and its chief, to which Sena leader Sanjay Raut in fact had lashed out at Kangana Ranaut's remark where she was questioning the Mumbai police and its chief. And Sanjay Raut told Kangana Ranaut, don't return if you're scared of the cops. Right the next day, we're talking about September 2nd, where the Mumbai police chief also refuted the claims and the charges that Kangana Ranaut had made. And right after that, there was another comment that was made by Kangana Ranaut on September 3rd, where she in fact went on to say, why is Mumbai feeling like POK? Now, this is where we've seen the constant war of words that had emerged, because this comment, she had compared Mumbai to POK. And right after that, on September 4th, we saw the Home Minister of Maharashtra, in fact, also going on to say that Kangana has no right to live in Maharashtra. And this really escalated the matters, and we'd seen several comments there coming in from Sena leaders, from several others questioning Kangana Ranaut for the comment that she had made regarding comparing Mumbai to POK. Let's all get further updates now coming in with this entire matter. Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala, in fact, also reacted to the centre providing a security cover to Kangana Ranaut. He said that while he disagreed with Kangana's comment on Mumbai, he also added that he backed the principle of dissent. Meanwhile, in further updates coming in this entire case, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has in fact slammed Kangana on social media yet again. While raking up Balasaheb's memory, he vowed to fight for women's pride and claimed that those making allegations against him were in fact those who insulted Mumbai and the local deity of a city, the Mumba. And we're also looking at further statements that had come in from Sanjay Raut, where the statement comes in the backdrop of the face-off of the slugfest that has been on between Sanjay Raut and Kangana Ranaut over the actor comparing Mumbai to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In fact, going on for further developments in this entire case with the war of words that had continued to escalate after Kangana Ranaut compared Mumbai to POK, Himachal government has also now waded into this entire controversy and decided to provide a security cover to Kangana's residence in Manali. In fact, the chief minister there has also directed senior cops in the state to assess the level of threat to Kangana.
कंगना रनावत हिमाचल से संबंधित हैं और बॉलीवुड में उनने हिमाचल का नाम और पूरे देश का नाम रोशन किया है। उनकी सुरक्षा हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। उस दृष्टि से डीजीपी को हमने आदेश दिए कि वो उनकी सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट की असेसमेंट करें और उसके पश्चात हमने एक निर्णय लिया कि उनके निवास मनाली में हिमाचल प्रदेश पुलिस की ओर से सुरक्षा मुहैया करवाई जाएगी और आवश्यक होगा तो जो प्रवास उनका होगा, जो टूर होगा, उसमें भी हिमाचल प्रदेश अपनी सुरक्षा देने के लिए तैयार है।
In further updates and breaking news that's coming in, the latest update in the Sushant Singh case, AIIMS Forensic Board is now conducting the viscera test in the Sushant Singh Rajput case to check for poisoning. The result is now expected within 10 days. This is the latest update now coming in with the AIIMS test for any traces of poisoning. And remember, this at a time where we're also looking at the CBI team, which had also visited the residence of Sushant Singh Rajput in Mumbai, along with the AIIMS forensic experts. Now we're given to understand that the test will be now conducted for any traces to find if there have been any traces of poisoning. And this test report is expected to come within the next 10 days. Now remember, the autopsy report had initially ruled out any kind of foul play, and therefore we're looking at the AIIMS conducting a viscera test to find out if there were any traces of poisoning. And now remember, the AIIMS saying that the forensic board is conducting a viscera test and the forensic team will be checking for any traces of poison. And we're also looking at the test report, which is expected to come within the next 10 days. Let me go across to my colleague Alok, who's joining me live, getting us further updates on this. Alok, with regards to the AIIMS Forensic Board, which is conducting the viscera test, what more details can you share with us at this point? Because the earlier autopsy report that we had seen in this case had ruled out any kind of foul play.
Well, Apurva, two things need to understand. Because Sushant Singh Rajput's post-mortem report that had come after his death, that clearly suggested he died of asphyxiation. But viscera usually being preserved by the agencies to ascertain if there was the presence of any kind of substance in the body or not. So for that purpose, this viscera was preserved, and now forensic team of the AIIMS hospital, they are conducting the examination. It will take around 10 days to reach out to the conclusion. But as of now, remember, just a week ago, there was a team from the AIIMS hospital, that is the forensic team, had gone there, Mumbai, and they in fact collected the viscera, and then they come back. From today, they have started conducting the examination of that viscera that will ascertain whether Sushant Singh Rajput had consumed any poison or whether he was administered any poison. So that is what will be come out in the report. However, that will the report will also suggest that what kind of poisonous substance was in the body of Sushant Singh Rajput if the result come out that there was the poison in the body. So that is what is going to happen. It will be very interesting to see if the poison comes out in the body. Remember, Sushant Singh Rajput's family members had alleged on Rhea Chakravarti that she was administering poison to Sushant Singh Rajput. So that is also a very important point here is, so as of now, so forensic team of the AIIMS hospital are conducting the examination, and the result will come out after 10 days. Back to you.
All right, Alok, many thanks for joining us and bringing us all those updates in this case. More breaking updates coming in. A poster campaign in the Pulwama, Bihar, seeking justice for actor Sushant Singh Rajput, allegedly put up by BJP, has sparked political war of words. In the latest, Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala has hit out at the BJP, saying that the BJP is trying to divert the attention from the floods and poor health infrastructure in Bihar by politicizing the death of the late actor. In other updates coming in this case, the Narcotics Bureau has intensified its probe to see whether the drug chats are linked to Sushant Singh Rajput case. Now, the NCB arrested another alleged drug peddler, Anuj Keshwani, who was also part of the drug ring. What we understand is that the agency conducted medical tests on Ria's brother Shovik, Sushant's manager Samuel Miranda, and arrested drug peddler Zayed. Meanwhile, the Narcotics Control Bureau is quizzing prime accused Rhea Chakravarti for the second day today. And remember, the NCB had launched a probe after alleged WhatsApp drug chats among Rhea, Shovik and others were handed over to them by the Enforcement Directorate. Let me bring in my colleague Sandhya, who's joining me live, getting us further updates on this case. Sandhya, with regards to the NCB's probe, what is the latest update you are picking up? Because we do understand that Rhea Chakravarti perhaps could be questioned once again by the NCB today.
The second round of questioning of Rhea Chakravarti is going on now. Depending on what happens today, the next summons will be decided. See, yesterday NCB had to say that because Rhea reached late, that's why they had to call her again for the second round of questioning, though she reached 1.5 hours late only, and she was allowed to go at 6:30, when usually in such cases interrogations, questionings actually go on for hours, very late in the night as well, till 10, till 12 as well. But she was allowed to go at 6:30, and NCB said that she came late, so they didn't have ample time to continue with the questioning. That's why she was called again today. As of now, the questioning continues, and based on the questioning which will happen today, it will be decided whether NCB will call her tomorrow again or not. Apurva.
All right, Sandhya, many thanks for joining us and bringing us those latest updates. And with that, we are slipping into a very short break. Back in just a bit. On to some other news that's breaking this minute. A Kochi court has granted permission to the Customs Department to interrogate 6 accused in the Kerala gold smuggling case. Now, the court granted permission to interrogate them in the Bengaluru drug case. Let me further get in inputs. My colleague Vivek now joining me with those updates. Vivek, there has been a lot of links now emerging between the Kerala gold scam and the Karnataka drug scam, for which now we understand that the Kochi court has also granted the customs department in Kerala the permission for probe. Can you take us through the various links that are now emerging between the two cases?
Yeah, exactly. There seems to be a link between these two cases, mainly because the kingpin in the gold smuggling case, KT Ramesh, is said to have close associations with this person called Mohammed Anup, who's been arrested by the CCB in Bangalore, in Kalyan Nagar, on the 21st of August, along with the serial actress and a person called Ravindran. Now remember, in the call logs of Mohammed Anup, it's been very clear there's a person called Moli that's been written, who is supposed to be KT Ramesh. Now, we still don't know for what purpose has Mohammed Anup contacted KT Ramesh, but what we understand is that KT Ramesh has collected money to invest in the gold business from Mohammed Anup. And also we understand that there has been calls between Mohammed Anup and Swapna Suresh, but that's still not clear. It's yet to be investigated because there are, in the call logs which we have managed to access, there are a lot of calls which have been made by Mohammed Anup to various VIPs and also people from Kerala, from the celebrities to businessmen to political people. So all these things need to be investigated. But as of now, the customs has got the permission to interrogate all the 6 people in this case, and also, Mohammed Anup will be interrogated in this particular week in connection with the drug case of whether he was in connection with KT Ramesh.
All right, Vivek, many thanks for joining us and bringing us those breaking updates. In other news coming in, a retired army major was allegedly stabbed to death by his wife in Hyderabad yesterday. The wife is also a retired army official. Now, the police say that the army couple had engaged in a heated argument which ended in the wife stabbing her husband in the chest. In fact, the army major succumbed to his injuries en route to the hospital. The wife now has been booked under Section 302 and has been sent to judicial remand. Let me go across to my colleague Shamit, who's joining me on the phone line with further updates on this. Shamit, what has been the motive that the police have been able to establish? What was the reason behind this altercation and subsequently the wife allegedly stabbing the husband?
Well, complete details has not yet put out by the police, and the initial information which provided by the Rajendra states that a retired army officer who was brutally murdered on the Saturday was actually consuming alcohol with his wife, 50-year-old woman who has allegedly killed him on Saturday after an altercation took place between them. And the police also said that there were some issues going on between them, and they also said that the couple has married 15 years ago and had 2 children. And it is also said that on Saturday, after consuming alcohol, some issue raised and heated argument took place, and later even a scuffle took place between them, and later his wife, the accused woman, has brought a knife and stabbed this retired army officer to death, and she fled away from the spot. Later, after the Rajendra police received information, they reached the spot and shifted the dead body to the local hospital for autopsy, and they have registered a case under Section 302 IPC, that is murder, and they have yesterday arrested this accused 50-year-old woman and sent to the judicial remand. And we need to wait and see what exactly the reason was and what exactly the motive was behind the murder. And as of now, the initial information is there was some issues going on between husband and wife since last few days, and that has resulted in murder.
All right, Shamit, many thanks for joining us and bringing us all those details of this case. In other news that's coming in, a fugitive jeweler, Nirav Modi, in fact, has been lodged at a prison in London since his arrest in March last year. He's set to appear via video link for the second leg of his extradition trial in the United Kingdom court today. In fact, the 49-year-old is fighting extradition charges related to the Punjab National Bank fraud and the money laundering case. Nirav Modi will in fact appear from a room in the Wadsworth prison in southwest London with social distancing norms in place for the 5-day hearing, which is scheduled to conclude on Friday.
The second leg of the Nirav Modi trial begins today, when the Westminster Magistrate Court will hear the prosecution, which is the CPS representing India, press those additional charges against Nirav Modi that is causing the disappearance of evidence and also threatening and intimidating witnesses. Nirav Modi is facing two charges, one from the CBI and the other from the Enforcement Directorate, of basically conspiring to defraud the Punjab National Bank for over 10,000 crore of rupees. Nirav Modi, of course, has been in Wandsworth prison since he was first arrested in March 2019. The courts have refused to grant him bail, agreeing with the CPS's contention that Nirav Modi poses a significant flight risk. Well, this 1 week trial, which will essentially mean 5 working days during which the Westminster Magistrate Court will hear arguments and counter arguments, will ensure a substantial moving ahead of the case against Nirav Modi. There will be further hearings as well, of course, and a ruling is expected only in December. But as we know from the Vijay Mallya case, both the sides will be eager and most probably go in for further appeal as well. But it will be interesting to see how the Nirav Modi's defense team constructs the case, given the fact that the CPS has said that Nirav Modi, in very clear terms, defrauded the bank. So it will be very interesting to see what arguments do they put forward, and all eyes will also be, of course, on some of the witnesses that Nirav Modi's team will be presenting. This is Danish Khan in London.
Wrap on this edition of The Big Story. Updates coming up on the other side.